Here are some notes on the books that I read in June. Firstly, The Deep by Nick Cutter. This is genuinely a really good book. It's like a Giger-esque type of deep sea horror about isolation, like a crazy scientist's estranged brother. It's like a 2001 Space Odyssey type of thing, but in the ocean. And the underwater base is like really cool. The characterization is really good. I really recommend it. It's super good. It's just a really good book from start to finish. You'll really like it if you like some of the stuff that I described. Next one is The Blind by A.F. Brady. It sucks. I am a huge fan of Hannibal, so I wanted to read this because it was described as a patient that makes a psychologist's life unravel and makes her question what's real and not real. That is not what I got. The main character is a really shitty person and they don't face any consequences for it. Even in the end, when they change their ways, there's no growth, so it seems like they didn't even do anything, and the person that had been in love with them all along, that they were stringing along and using, doesn't get any sort of comeuppance at all, and it's tragic, honestly. The Other by Thomas Tryon. It's about a good twin and a bad twin, and I saw the twist coming a mile away as soon as I read the first page. It was written in 1970, but I have no issue reading older books, so that's not really an excuse for why I didn't really click with it, because there are lots of Philip K. Dick books, for example, that I really like. My recommendation is to just blame Martha is Dead or watch Seiju Games series on it, because that's a way better version and you're not missing out on anything. In the Miso Soup by Ryo Murakami. It's about this person who does like the sex tourism in like Japan, in like the seedy districts of Japan, and they meet a really messed up sex tourist. So it's like a character study from the perspective of the down on his luck shady tour guide who gets in on something that he wasn't ready for. It's a slow burn that gets really violent and outlandish, but I feel like it remained grounded and I recommend it if you have a strong stomach, but it's genuinely a really good like thriller horror character study. The Graveyard Apartment by Mariku Koike is about a family who moves into a haunted apartment that very quickly becomes otherworldly. I really enjoyed this one. The ending was completely unsatisfying, but I do recommend it. The backstory of the main family hits you like a truck in the first or second chapter, and it absolutely stunned me. Like, immediately the book hits the ground running, and I do recommend it. It's very entertaining. The Cellar by Richard Lehman. This book sucks. I have no issue with horror that has sexual themes. For example, it highlights the terror of not having consent and feeling trapped. I completely think that you can make a valid horror topic about that. For example, Lovecraft's Innsmouth is full of fish people who basically manipulated and coerced the town into mating, and now they're filled with evil fish people. So that would be fine. But the story has a monster like that, but it's written really stupidly. The other characters as well are completely awful. This author has never seen a woman before, I swear. The main lady is on the run with her small child from a dangerous rapist husband who abused her and the daughter for years. It's said outright that she has horrifying trauma from this, as any person would. But as soon as she meets with the main character, the dude, who she's supposed to fall in love with, the first time they talk, the first interaction they have, she says that she feels something wet in her pants. Like, you know what I mean. All her trauma, all her sexual trauma is out the window because she thinks that she likes the guy and she found a hot guy who just makes the trauma go away. That's not how that works. And even though she was worried about her daughter being murdered by the abusive father that is trying to hunt them down, she's like, haha, hot guy, I don't care. Like, does the author know what a woman is? The last book is Her Holding an Orange by Milos. This was originally an interesting no-sleep on Reddit that made it into a novel. I like the surreal horror aspect, so I was interested, but the protagonist is one of the dumbest people I've ever seen. He gets really scared of something and then he forgets that the thing happened, and then he goes and does something dumb. Even though he described the thing that he went through as traumatizing, he seems to have just forgotten it in the next section, and then he goes through it again and he's like, wow, this is so traumatizing, and then he forgets about it. He's also scared that the demon lady character is gonna get him, but then he forgets and rides out into the middle of nowhere on his bike because he just feels like it one day, and then he gets surprised when something bad happens. The ending is also disappointing in both versions of the story, so watch this video on it if you really want to experience the story and don't really waste your time reading the book. So yeah, that's all I have for June, and I'll update you at the end of July.